Now, we are broadcasting live to all of the patrons. I just figured it's might as well go ahead and do that shit.
We're going to go all the way live.
We usually put it up there with an update, but fuck it. So what you been doing, buddy?
I just got back from the grocery store. That was a fun time.
Yeah.
Listening to people in Martin bitch about the mask thing and COVID and Biden and all that shit.
Yeah. Ah, buddy. Don't want to go there.
Would you like to go there?
That's all I hear about all day. Yeah.
Well, that's all they talk about, apparently.
What do you think about this COVID stuff flaring back up? It's interesting because the numbers are growing, right? But there's no deaths at all. So
right.
It's like it's I don't know, it's a less potent strain of the COVID, maybe.
Well, if you, I don't want to get too much into this, but, if you listen to anybody around here, it's all a conspiracy. Andy Bashir's going to take our rights away.
Damn, COVID don't exist, by God.
And our guns, and, oh, God.
So
I don't know what the big fucking deal is, man. I really, really don't. People that are they're just making you wear that mask. It's like, so fucking what? It ain't like I'm wearing a fucking, they're not putting me in a fucking Iron Maiden or anything.
It's not like somebody's shitting in a diaper and making you wear that.
Yeah. Like it doesn't hurt anything.
Although some of these people's breath might smell that bad. I don't know.
Well, you'd think they were making you shove fucking hot coals up your ass or something. Well, at least that's freedom. I ain't wearing shit.
I don't trust them. I don't want the government to follow me around.
That's the other thing, too, about the vaccines. That's the funniest shit of all of it, really. They're trying to track you. Are they? Is that what they're doing?
They put one of them damned old chips in you.
Oh, damn. Oh, God.
They're going to be able to follow me to Walmart's, and I don't like that.
There's really people that believe that this is some sort of conspiracy where everybody that gets the vaccine is going to die, and the only people left would be the people that haven't got the vaccine. Some sort of biblical
I'm just
conspiracy.
sick of people in general. I was going to make an intro with the Hulk Hogan theme song and stuff, and I completely forgot.
God damn it.
For cruel
This is the
trolls.
perfect time.
Yeah.
Hey, I found this today. You remember this?
What's that?
This was
Stephen King? Yeah.
This was a Stephen King rule shirt that was signed by, I don't know if you can see that, Andre Gower.
Andre Gower, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the old school ones now. I don't know if you can get them anymore. I don't know if he does. If he does do conventions, I don't know if he sells them, but there's all kinds of people on TeePublic that's got those shirts now.
Yeah.
So, I heard a rumor that you can actually grab a Sutter Kane Rules t-shirt on there.
That's actually a cool idea for a shirt.
A little birdie told me about that. So, this is the monthly review show. And at one point in time, we did have 3 baller and shot callers. But the guy picked the movie and immediately deleted it or whatever. So that's fine. You can totally do that. But yeah, we've got 3 different reviews this time. I don't know if you could have picked 3 movies that differ more than these 3.
That's true.
To be honest with you. So, but that's good, for these review shows and all that.
Yeah, I mean, even though I struggled getting through one of them. I struggled getting through 2 of them, but really the one of them was harder than the others. Even though that's the case, I still enjoy having that kind of a mixture of stuff that I would probably never normally watch. And that's what we got now.
Yeah. So the movies reviewed is from 2005. It's a French, what would you call it? Mystery?
Psychological thriller.
Thriller. movie, Cachet from France. Our buddy Williams won that picked that one out, and we'll get into it here in a minute. But I don't. I mean, he must be a big fan of the movie. There's a big fan base for the movie, but that does not seem like anything that we would ever talk about on the show. So it's going to be interesting to kind of review it and talk about it because it's from 2005. To be honest with you, I'd never heard of it.
Yeah, I don't think anybody would classify this movie as a horror movie. Really. Like, it's not a horror movie. So we probably wouldn't review it or do anything with it on the show because that's not the genre that I think it would fall into, really.
Right. Yeah, it would be like... Honestly, I think it's more of a movie for filmmakers, possibly. Like the technical aspects of it, the shots, and all that. Maybe that's the audience it's for. I don't think it's for us. But we'll talk about that here in a minute. And what else we got?
Well, we go from that one to, like, you couldn't any further from the spectrum here. You couldn't go. But we got the Bruno Mattei classic, Cruel Jaws, which is an Italian Jaws ripoff that, you talk about Cachet being something for filmmakers to. This is like what not to do. Like, if you're a filmmaker, like everything in this movie is inept and silly, and just oh my god. But
this is the guy that failed film school, possibly, if he ever went.
Yeah, it's amazingly entertaining to watch though. So, Cruel Jaws.
Now, did he use the name?
Now he used the name William Snyder, I think.
Okay, because he had a few different names.
Yeah.
William Snyder, Vincent Dawn.
That was like right on the nose, though.
Yeah, Clyde Anderson. Or no, that might have been somebody else.
That was Claudio Fragasso that used Clyde Anderson, yeah.
So,
but he had another name, too, but I can't remember what it is. Bruno Mattei did. It's like Joe something.
A lot of aliases, and that's never good.
Yeah.
Last one up, and maybe you can recall if we ever reviewed this or not. I'm thinking we about had to. But looking back, I don't think we ever received a copy to review, so if we ever talked about this, it was just us wanting to bullshit about it. But from 2004, it's hard to believe that movie is this old. 17 years old. Edgar Wright. Shaun of the Dead, boys. And this is interesting, too, because this kind of got... this was inspired, of course, by mainly Romero's zombie movies. And it kind of got interest back in his films a little bit, I think. And shortly thereafter, Land of the Dead came out, which I think came out from the same studio, Universal. So we'll talk about that a little bit, too, because I think it may be because of this movie.
And we saw that movie in the theater when it came out. I remember this clearly. And I'll be talking about that too. Like first impressions about it.
Right. And this is the first time I'd seen that movie in a long time when I rewatched it the other day. So, I mean, it's not that there's not really a whole lot you can forget about it, really. I mean, it's kind of just a straight. And the Nick Frost and Simon Pegg, they just... You can tell they're really friends in real life, the way that they go back and forth. But we'll talk about all these. First one, though, we should go ahead and get this movie over with, Uncle Bill. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we should. That's probably where we should start.
So, and our buddy William Ellman is the guy's name that picked this out. And a lot of people, if you look online on IMDb... They love this movie. I mean, this movie, you would think that it was, I don't know. You would think that it was the best tasting steak ever if you went to a steakhouse. And this is the cut that you want, right? You want the Cachet sirloin with the blackened butter that's an extra $6, right?
Well, I mean, I can see how technically... people would think that this was a good movie because I guess it is in that way. But yeah,
well,
let me just give a brief synopsis of it, and then we'll actually like talk about the movie. Okay.
Right.
So it's French, first of all. Let's get into that. It's subtitled, which I'm not a huge fan of that anyway. Not that I'm like one of those people that's like, I can't watch nothing subtitled because fucking brr. Like anything like that. It's just
I don't want to read it, by God.
It's just it adds an extra level of like annoyance to any film that I try to avoid. But okay, so there's that part of it. It's a story of a couple, and what's her name? Juliette Binoche, I believe, or Julie Binoche, or something like that. Is
It's French.
yeah, and another the guy, his name escapes me, but she's pretty famous. And they start to receive these tapes. I think they're VHS tapes, which shows you how old this movie is. On their doorstep, that kind of just detail like their like somebody is filming their house, like during the day and things like that. And along with those tapes, which they keep getting sent, they get sent these drawings, which are like kids' drawings of different scenes. And as you go along in the movie, you start to kind of figure out that those have like a special meaning to the movie. But the basis of the movie is just them kind of like freaking out over these tapes and drawings being sent and trying to figure out who is sending them. And that's really the whole plot of the movie, as far as I can tell.
And it seems like the husband is the one that's really kind of going nuts, wanting to find out who this is, because he is the one that they are ultimately targeting. Especially when you see some of the backstory that goes on with the drawings that he gets along with the tapes. So, and he's kind of a local celebrity. He works for like a talk radio or a talk TV show, something like that. And he also has various flashbacks throughout that kind of shed a little bit of light on something that he did in his past that, may be coming back to haunt him, if you will.
Yeah, so I guess that the big part of the movie is like watching him unravel, because there's some sort of like traumatic event that happened to him when he was a kid, and like this person knows about it, and they're sending him these drawings to force him to kind of like relive this event, and he starts kind of just deteriorating because of this, and starts having problems with his wife and kid and stuff like that. So I guess that's really like the motion of the movie, like what keeps it going. Right. Is that whole kind of conflict.
And then there's the guy, George, I think is his name, the husband.
Yeah.
He kind of accuses someone from his past and confronts them and everything, and then something crazy kind of happens with that. And, I want to give some of this away because we can't really talk about it without giving some of it away. It leads up and it kind of builds a little bit of a climax where you're like, hey, what's going to happen? And then nothing. There's nothing.
And see, okay, that's kind of what, because it took me a while to watch this movie, I'm not going to lie. Like, it took me several different viewings because it's really, really slow. Yeah. Like, I guess it's paced that way intentionally, probably for the effect of, like, ratcheting up the tension and things like that. But, like, for somebody like me, like, I just need things to move. At some sort of a pace.
Yeah, especially a movie like this that's subtitled, and it is, the base of the movie is the acting. I mean, that's the star of the movie. It's what controls the entire pace.
Yeah.
So, it's well made. It's a, technically well made movie. He doesn't use much music at all in the movie. Did you notice that?
I don't think there's any, is there? Like,
yeah, it's almost like a documentary in that way, really. And there is one really shocking scene that I didn't see coming. It's just out of nowhere. That's semi-horror based, I guess.
Yeah.
You would say. And the flashbacks were cool. They were kind of intriguing. But there's not enough meat on the bone for me to basically even remember anything about this movie within a month from now. Like, this will be one of those movies that will be completely erased from my mind within, probably 30 days, because it's not just the subtitle thing. I think it may be the way that I watch these movies too. I watch them at work usually. And the subtitle movies, you pretty much have to pay close attention to the whole time to follow what's going on, because you have to read the damn thing. It's just not my type of movie. Really not. I mean, I can see, I guess, how some people would enjoy it. If you're a filmmaker and you're interested in studying those long shots that don't have a cut. I don't notice shit like that, usually. Like, I'd read that's some of the things that people enjoy about it, that it's just one long continuous cut, one scene or whatever. I don't care. I don't give a fuck about that. I don't want to be a filmmaker. That doesn't really interest me if it was all shot in one take. Now, the director of this movie did go on to make a really, really, really well-known film. I don't know if you noticed that or not.
Well, I didn't notice that, actually.
He was the Mikhail Haneke. I'm sure it's pronounced some other way, but I'm from Eastern Kentucky, Did we lose you? Hello?
Something happened. You fucking started loading.
You're back.
Yeah, I'm here.
Poor connection on somebody's end. But yeah, the director, Michael Haneke, would later, I think 2 years later, made the movie Funny Games, which was later remade here in the U.S. So that's probably one of his most well-known movies outside of France.
That's true, yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, I think also one thing that I highlighted here, the lead actor in the movie, for some reason, and I couldn't take him seriously because of this, reminded me of Mr. Bean.
It's some freezing.
I don't know whose end this is on, but yeah, you're kind of freezing on my end. But
I can restart my computer. I mean, I don't know if it's that or not.
I don't know either. We'll roll with it. Hopefully, it seems like it's doing all right for now.
All right, you bitch ass.
But what I was saying is the lead in it, I couldn't really take him seriously either because he resembled Mr. Bean. Like, he looked just like him.
I didn't think about it, but yeah, you're right. Yeah. I'll say this about it too. Like, I like the fact that they didn't ever tell you who sent the tapes. Like, I like that it was open-ended in that way because, like, at least that leaves you up to, like, interpretation. Because anything they would have done at the end of that fucking movie would have been, like, anticlimactic. I guarantee it. Like, just because the whole movie's based around that one thing. So, they have somebody come out, oh, I'm your fucking cousin, or whatever it would be. Like, I know what you did.
They kind of throw a hint out there of what it could be, I guess, but you never really know.
Yeah. I like movies that are open-ended. I really do. Like, I think that is oftentimes kind of like underrated. The idea that everything has to have like a clear-cut ending, and you have to figure everything has to be tied together. That's kind of like how they make movies now. Like every fucking movie that gets made now, it has to be really, just right on the nose, and everybody ends up happy, and everything ends up solved by the time the movie's over with. Like, they don't make movies like fucking, even like Night of the Living Dead. Like that, the ending of that movie is an ending that, like, it stays with you because, like, nothing gets resolved really, and it's just a horrible
something
kind of
else
set.
Though about this movie that I wanted to bring up, because the dad in it, the George character or whatever, his wife always mentions to him about going to the authorities or whatever. Does he ever go to the authorities? I don't recall him ever doing it. He says that he does, that they're not interested in the tapes.
and that could be because like he knows that they know something on him or something like that, and he doesn't want to,
Right.
you know, want to drag that up. I don't know. It's an interesting movie and a thought provoking movie, but I don't think it's entertaining, which is really the only thing that I look for in a movie. Like if you're watching it.
What's the problem now with like overdubbing movies? It never happens anymore. You never get that.
I don't know. But I mean, there's nothing.
I guess some people hate that, but
listen, anytime a movie starts and like 10 minutes into it, the only thing that's happened is a bunch of French people have eaten salad. Like I just have a problem with it. Like I tend to zone out.
The French people eat French dressing on their salad with snails.
Oui, oui.
So yeah, that's Cachet. And William, this is not a slight towards you or anything. We appreciate the support and all that. But yeah, just not my type of movie. It's not one that I could recommend. It's one that I'll probably never, ever, ever watch again or think about again.
Here's the thing, though. Like, it just depends on the person. Likes a certain type of movie, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend it to say like somebody like Crater. He's gonna be like,
Buddy,
what the fuck is that?
where the hell's Patty Mayonnaise?
That's just not, you know.
So yeah, that is Cachet from 2005. If you want to check it out, it is on Amazon Prime. I think it may be on a couple other streaming services too. So that is one good thing about it. We just got to, stream it and check it out that way.
Yeah, I mean that is like we didn't pay anything for it or anything like that, so that's good.
Yeah. So which one you want to do next, Uncle Bill?
We could always talk about Shaun of the Dead because that one I've kind of got committed to memory. So to kind of open this up though, like we saw this movie in the theater opening weekend when it came out, which would have been around 2004, and I remember.
I think it for the U.S. it's 2004, but I think it came out. I think it came out in the UK like a year earlier or something like that, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, I know it was
Maybe it's the
before.
other way around. I don't know, but it may have been 2005. I can't recall.
Somewhere around that time frame, but I remember watching it, and I didn't like it when we first saw it. Like I didn't get it. Like I expected it to be something else entirely. And it's one of those movies where if you go into it with the mindset of like this is going to be like a Romero movie, then you would be disappointed because that's not really what it's like. Like it's a comedy first, I think, that just happens to include like zombies. So I was going into it thinking, okay, this is going to be like, straight up kind of comedy, or not straight up kind of horror film with just like kind of little tongue in cheeks, but it's not really.
Right.
Like it just kind of subverted my expectations. Plus, I had no frame of reference for like what Edgar Wright's work was going to be like, and I've seen a number of his films now. Loved a lot of them. Some of them like I don't really care for, but all of the trilogy of ones he did with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost I like. So you got Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and The World's End, and I like all those a lot. So
interestingly enough, he did it was the bank heist movie a few years ago. I had no clue that he was the one that directed that though. Baby Driver. Did you ever see that one?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually think that movie's pretty decent too.
And he did Scott Pilgrim too versus the World, which a lot of people liked, but don't know that he did that. I don't think.
Yeah. So I think this was kind of his dream project for a little while. He had done a TV show over in England with a lot of the cast from Shaun of the Dead. So I can't remember the name of that show.
Spaced.
Okay.
Yeah.
Space. It kind of had a following, pretty good following over there in England. So they got together and made this. Now, it's what they call it, a romantic comedy with zombies or something like that.
Yeah, which is basically what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really that much romance to it, but I mean, it's a basic plot, really. I mean, Shaun is best friends. Simon Pegg's character is best friends with Ed, I think was his name, and they're living together and everything. He's kind of the disgusting asshole that doesn't care what he says or anything. And that's Nick Frost's character, Ed, and his girlfriend is wanting a more serious relationship. You know, she's wanting to take it to the next level and maybe move in together and stuff like that. And Shaun's not really ready for that. You know, he kind of likes his freedom and all that. Doesn't want to kick his buddy Ed out or move out or anything. I think he's living with two other guys, right? The other guys,
I can't remember his name, but yeah, and I think like the two of them are paying the rent and working
or something like that.
I couldn't tell you. And the two of them are like the ones that are actually responsible, and then Ed is just like kind of living on the couch and playing video games and shit all day, and he sells weed. Yeah, he sells weed. It was like a good job.
So yeah, like he says, I want to straighten up, I want to do better and all this. So they plan like a date that evening, and he of course waits till the last minute. Ends up, all the places are booked up or whatever. So he's like, hey, you want to go down to the pub, the Winchester, I think was the name of it.
Yeah.
And she gets all pissed off at him, and well, they don't really break up or anything, but she kind of done with him at that point. So after a night of just getting drunk as fuck at the Winchester with Shaun and Ed, that's when they don't ever really explain where the zombies come from or anything. They just kind of randomly show up.
Yeah.
And they kind of mistake them for somebody that's stoned or drunk or whatever at first. And there's the front, you kind of know what you're in for when the zombie from the garden the next morning is out there. And they're just throwing records at her, and at first he's like, oh man, she's really fucked up.
Yeah, they have
drunk.
Yeah. Well, there's a great kind of this is one thing that Edgar Wright does really well, which is design scenes. And so in the beginning of the movie, Shaun walks into this, what would be like a little convenience store, I guess, in England.
Local convenience store.
So he walks into it and he gets something like a Pepsi or something like that, and then he walks back out, and it's all normal. And then so they kind of foreshadow that so that they can show you when the zombie apocalypse stuff starts to happen. He walks back into that store, but everybody's dead, and there's blood all over, but he's not paying attention to anything. There's zombies walking towards him, but everybody's so in their own world, and that's kind of how it is in real life. You don't really halfway pay attention to anybody else that you're around, which is the point the film was making, I think, in that case too. Right. He just walks in, gets the same shit, walks back out, and all this chaos is going on around him. They get back in there, and then that's when the garden scene happens too, which Nick Frost in this movie is one of my favorite characters. His delivery, his comic timing, everything is fucking amazing. And he's standing there with underneath the curtains, he's there's a girl in the garden. And staring at her. It's just everything about his character is perfect in this movie.
And the thing is all these guys were relatively unknown over here. So it's kind of unheard of that, there's really no stars in this movie at all. And I guess just its status alone from reviews and everything, Universal gave it, a wide theatrical release because we saw it in Pikeville up here, 20, 30 minutes from our house. So, that alone will tell you, this movie definitely, a lot of people had faith in this movie. I don't know how well it really did at the box office, but it definitely over the years has become a all-time, cult classic, especially from this era. 2004 was a weird time for horror movies. Genre movies in general, really. It was when the remake trend was just starting up, and there really wasn't anything like this at the time.
I think, though, that to that time period, 2004, 2005, was really like the genesis of a whole new kind of era of filmmakers for horror films that we haven't really seen since then. If you think about, like, Rob Zombie came out with House of 1,000 Corpses, and then Edgar Wright came out with Shaun of the Dead, and then, I don't know, it wasn't too long after that, even though it's fucking horrible, it's still, like, completely different, that Eli Roth started with the Hostel, Cabin Fever and Hostel and all that shit. So I think this was, like, really an explosion of a bunch of different, like, young filmmakers that would kind of restart horror films, which that hasn't happened since then, I don't think. Like, there hasn't been, like, a kind of, like, culmination of all these guys coming out with all this different kind of stuff, different stylistic kind of stuff at the same time since that time period.
Been a long time since a major studios took a chance on an independent film like this, too. I mean, like
yeah, they don't do that anymore. I mean, like, they can't really. Now, especially, like...
Yeah, I think the last one I can think of that pops into my mind was the first Paranormal Activity. That was an independent movie that's Paramount.
Which, when did that come out? Like 2007?
That was shortly after. But yeah, I mean, not a whole lot really since then that I can think of right now. Another great scene that I liked was in the pub when the Queen song "Don't Stop Me Now" is playing, and they start whacking the damn zombie to the beat of the song.
To the beat of the song, yeah.
With the pool cues.
I mean, there's so many. I couldn't even tell you all the scenes in this movie that I just love, but that's probably like really high up there too. Yeah, anything in the Winchester is amazing. That final scene with where everybody gets trapped in there and it becomes like Night of the Living Dead, and then all hell starts breaking loose. Which all those scenes are great.
Yeah, I think there's kind of they kind of remade Captain Rhodes' death scene.
Yeah.
With the Kevin character towards the end of the movie, which I remember when me and you saw that in the theater, I was like, "Holy shit!" Because that's pretty graphic, for any time frame, really.
And the whole fucking thing with was his name Philip, the stepdad, where he fucking like his interaction with Shaun, where they both kind of like hate each other, and when he turns into a zombie, and when he first gets bitten too, he's like, "Oh, it's nothing. I'll just run it under a cold tap or something like that." And it's like he turns into a zombie, and they like can't wait to kill him. They've got this whole fantasy about how they'll kill him. Mm-hmm. And that's another thing too. There's a great scene that's like it's got the Dawn of the Dead music in it too, which makes it even better. Where he's thinking about what are they going to do, and they're trying to formulate a plan. And he's like, "All right, so we'll go to the pub, or no, we'll go pick up Liz, kill my stepdad, go to the pub, have a pint, wait for everything to blow over," or something like that. And there's like all these different, cuts of this one scene with the Dawn of the Dead, music over. It's just he really did make a standalone film that's great, but like kind of paid tribute to those zombie films, and it's one of the only ones that Romero really liked too before he passed away. Like Shaun of the Dead.
And I'd forgotten about this too. It was talking about this on IMDb that George Romero was so impressed with the movie that Simon Pegg and Edgar Wright they had cameos in Land of the Dead the next year as zombies.
Yeah,
so
they were the ones chained to the wall, I think, in one of the scenes where they're keeping zombies.
And this may be the only zombie movie that Romero likes besides his own. I've never heard him. I remember when we talked to him, we'd asked him about Return of the Living Dead. And he was like,
that's a piece of shit.
But they follow. They follow Romero's rules in this movie too, pretty much.
They do, but he hates anything with like running zombies or anything like that. So that ruled out like a ton of movies from the like early 2000s.
Yeah, but I mean, I would definitely say this is a rare cult classic from this time frame. And I'm glad that I watched this one again. Our buddy, Let's Talk Resident Evil, a.k.a. Anthony, recommended this one, and we may have not reviewed this on the show. I'll have to go back and look.
I'm not sure if we ever did, because it came at a weird time. Like, Well, we saw it like right before we started the show, I think, and like it just I don't know. I don't know if we ever got back around to reviewing it.
I still have the ticket stub actually somewhere. So it may have come out in 2005 here. I can't recall.
It seems like it did. Like I don't know why, but I think we saw that in 2005.
Yeah.
But anyway, like I couldn't recommend it. I think this was like the best movie he ever did. Like it was just everything about it was perfect. It's definitely the movie he's most famous for now. Like even though he's done like a ton of probably more expensive movies and more, it's the movie that's the biggest cult classic of anything that he's done.
Well, the thing is too is this was the movie that he had no Hollywood influences on. So he made this before, Universal didn't have anything to do with this movie when he was making it. So after the success of this movie, he kind of worked only with, studios and stuff. So didn't have the creative freedom, I think, that he had with this one.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know of anybody that hadn't seen Shaun of the Dead, though. If you're watching this, you've probably seen Shaun of the Dead.
You know something, though, too, and it fucking, it kind of aggravated me. I don't know why, but the girl that played Liz, his girlfriend in the movie,
yeah,
looks almost exactly like a younger version of, I think her name's Kate Blanchett.
You're right. Yeah.
It's like a slightly younger version of her, and I was like, damn, are they fucking related or something? Because she was from England, I think.
Yeah, and what's weird is Kate Blanchett's actually in Hot Fuzz, too, which was the next movie that he made.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There might be a connection there. I don't know.
I'm not sure either, but yeah, she was a bit of all right.
Let's go to the pub. Wow! Yay!
I did have a on TikTok. Oh. Oh
fuck.
TikTok. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Yeah.
So on TikTok, I posted with my good buddy Mr. Potato Head a tribute to the Bushwhackers on there. So check that out on Into the Dead Pit on TikTok and go, whoa!
Yay, go. What the fuck? I don't understand TikTok still, but I'm glad you're figuring it out.
Yeah, I still don't. I don't really understand it either, but it is what it is. I'm trying.
So I guess
I think TikTok is more for like women that have big asses.
What the fuck?
From what I've seen.
Yeah, you may be right.
Like, look, you can stick a 2-liter on my ass.
Look at it. It's like a fucking end table. Look here. Put your fucking plate on here.
You can stick the remote on it.
Which, by the way, that's a trend that's fucking really, really silly. Like, people who get them ass injections and their ass, like, comes out, like, where it looks, they look like they got scoliosis or something. Like, it fucking goes down the... Oh!
Yeah. Well, it's like that 600-pound life, some of them women that's on there, that looks like they have, like, little fucking, like, additions added onto their ass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like little mounds that pop out.
Like their ass is like an ant colony where it branches off into a bunch of different things.
So their ass is like that, right? And they got like a little bowling ball thing on the one side of it, and it's just misshaped on the top. I don't know how we got started talking about that.
That's a lot of ass. But anyway,
what you gonna do, brother?
You. So apparently, sometime in the 90s, which I was watching this movie, and I'm like, in the beginning, I was like, this has got to be made in like the 80s. Like it looks, and it's made like 1995 or something shit like crazy like that. But apparently, in 1995, for no apparent reason, Bruno Mattei decided to make an unofficial sequel to Jaws called Cruel Jaws. And I don't even know where to begin.
Jaws 5.
With this movie, man. Like, there's so... I had to make notes. Like, I actually made notes because there's so much killer shit in this movie. And, I mean, killer in, like, an awful way.
Yeah, I mean, Bruno Mattei doesn't believe in character development at all in his movies.
No.
There's so many like, at the beginning of the movie, it's just such a cluster from one scene to the next. Who the hell are all these fucking people? There's somebody in a car. Who are they? Where are they going? You know? So, uh-oh, did I lose you? Oh, there you are.
Hi.
Hi, Aaron.
I don't know what the fuck's going on tonight.
I don't either.
But let me give you a brief synopsis that as far as what I can gather, that this movie is supposed to be about, okay? Really what it is like a blatant fucking Jaws ripoff. Like, I'm not even joking. There are scenes in this movie that are basically verbatim taken from Jaws. Like the first Jaws. Like, where they say that the dialogue is almost... And they've got shit like... They've got a scene where a group of guys get together and, like, they're talking about hunting the shark. And it looks exactly like the scene from Jaws where you meet Quint. They've got a scene where they got a mayor kind of character who, you know, they want him to shut the beaches, but he won't because there's all this money. They almost say some of the same lines, man. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, how the fuck did they get away with doing this? But anyway, it's about a group of people that work at this like SeaWorld kind of place, and where they got all these
by the Hulkster.
Yeah,
a smaller version of the Hulkster.
And you said that I didn't know this, but there's a guy in this movie that is one of the good guys who looks exactly like Hogan. And
the guy's name is Richard Dew, like Mountain Dew, D-E-W, right?
Yeah.
So this guy was a stand-in for Hulk Hogan. So whenever the Hulkster wasn't available and they just needed him in a background shot, I guess they put like a step stool. He stood on a step stool and, you know, just like, hey, brother, dude.
Right.
So the casting of this movie, now I don't know for a fact if that was the sole reason. I would almost guarantee it was, though. They didn't cast union actors in this. So anybody that had a union card, they were not going to... No. That's not how Bruno Mattei or Vincent Dawn or William Schneider... That's not how any of those guys work. Okay? They want people that'll do a job. They don't pay them by the hour. They pay them by the... So Richard Dew walked in and he's like, okay, you look a little bit like Hulk Hogan. I give you $200 to be in this movie. And that's how it went. It was like cutting grass.
God damn. It's true, though, like, because you can tell that nobody in this film has any real acting experience because it's awful. Like the little kid, Susie, I think's her name. Holy shit.
What, they're
Who's in a...
I saw it. I swear to God, I couldn't believe this was a line, right? They capture I think it's a tiger shark. Do you remember this?
Yes.
That little girl says, Daddy, does that mean that his mom was a tiger and his dad was a shark?
Yeah.
Shut up, bitch. That's not what it means, brother.
Yeah, so Hulk Hogan's her dad. I forgot about that. That's, the dad. But, okay, so... There's other stuff wrong with it, but not just the acting. Like, you can see where he... Like, you know how in a normal film where people know what they're doing, like, stuff will begin in the middle of people doing stuff, and there's like a fluidity to it? Well, in this movie, you can see when they begin a take, like, everybody's just standing there, and it's like, he starts the camera too early, and then tells them to go, so they're all just standing there, and then they just start walking or something, and like, but the camera picks up the whole thing. Like, that's not how you're supposed to make a film. But really, that's the least of this film's problems, because 90% of the shark footage is just random, like, National Geographic sharks, like, public domain shark footage of them just attacking shit that really doesn't make any sense in the context of the film.
Don't you think that the movie too? And this is what was so interesting to me. It's shot in Florida, right?
Yeah.
It's filmed like an episode, and they shot this show in Florida too. I don't know if they used the same cameras. If Richard got the Hulkster, the Hulkster gave him a deal because he worked with Dick Dew. But it looked like an episode of Thunder in Paradise. That's exactly what it looked like.
It did have almost the same production value, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know if they used those cameras. They got a deal on that because that was shot in Florida as well. Universal Studios or something. I don't know. Another thing that this movie's infamous for, and I actually got the list of movies that they used in Cruel Jaws. So, Cruel Jaws, it was a killer shark movie. They did have a shark for the movie, but it was a mechanical shark that I think broke the first day of shooting, and they just didn't fool with it again. So, the genius that William Schneider, Vincent Dawn, and Bruno Mattei, the geniuses they are, he was like, we just use other sharks from other movies, right? So not just, now listen to this shit. So this was a movie that came out in 1995, okay? So he lifted footage from the original Jaws from 1975, Jaws 2 from 78, Joe D'Amato's Deep Blood from 1990, and mainly most of the footage was from Enzo Castigliori's The Last Shark from 1981 and Jaws 3. And the funny thing, and most of it is from, I think, The Last Shark, I think is the movie that a lot of it's from. So this is a movie from 1995. Instantly, as soon as, especially if you're watching on Blu-ray, I don't know if the VHS was any better or not. It was almost like watching like stock footage from the History Channel or something. That's how bad it looked.
That's what it looks like, yeah. And you go back and forth between all these different like stupid sharks, which there's a scene in the beginning of the movie where I'm like, what in the fuck? Where a shark, which looks like, I don't know, they try to make it look big, but you can tell that the shark is basically just like one of those little tiny, like probably about that long that you catch and like on a pier or something like that, where it like boxes these guys into this cave by like rearranging these rocks.
Right.
And that has no bearing on anything else in that movie. Like, I guess that was just stolen footage from another movie. Like, I don't know what the hell it had to do with anything else. But, man.
The thing I'm wondering, too, right, because this movie is definitely infamous. I mean, we've heard about this movie for years and years.
Yeah.
Steve used to go on about this movie all the time. So, it was originally supposed to come out on Blu-ray about 4 or 5 years ago. Scream Factory announced it. I don't know if you remember this. It was going to be a double feature with Exterminators of the Year 3000. I'm sure that was a classic.
Oh, yeah.
But they were unable to release it due to the footage from Steven Spielberg's Jaws. That's the big one. So what happened? What changed from then to now? Because Severin come out with this nice edition with the limited Jaws 5 slipcover that they couldn't advertise. Don't you love those fucking gimmicks?
Here's what I'm thinking. Steven Spielberg probably was just like, who gives a fuck? I made Schindler's List. God damn it. Give a fuck about Cruel Jaws.
Maybe that's what Severin thought. They're like, he's not going to give a shit.
He probably wouldn't. I mean, who would really? But, there's just so much in this movie though that I can't. Like when they get to the actual shark, like the one that is, the one that they made, it looks so awful, man. It's like, I don't know how to explain it.
The one that they made, now that was the one that had the dummy sticking out of the mouth. Was that the one that they
yes.
made for? Okay. I was thinking that was the only one that halfway looked close to the actual footage that was shot for the movie. The rest of it looks like, you're cutting back to fucking Vietnam or something. Underwater.
Yeah. But here's the weird thing about it, though. Like, I don't think I could recommend a movie more. Like, for as bad as it is, like, it's great.
Yeah, I mean, it's a sight to be seen. I'll say that. I mean, if you're having a movie, like a film fest or something like that with a group of people drinking, just having a good time, it's baffling. Like, I was watching this with Sarah, and she was actually kind of captivated by it as well. She was like, what in the hell is this?
Yeah, it's like you can't even believe that somebody would do something like that. Like, take all those different forms of footage and just compile them together in a movie to where none of it makes any sense. Like, but I don't know, somehow or another, the acting's so bad, the shark is so bad, the direction is so bad that it turns out to be good. Like Troll 2, good in that way.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it really is. It's in the same vein as Troll 2, and it's so bad that it is enjoyable. Now, another thing about the movie too is much like Jaws, there's a dead body floating on shore early on in the movie. But this is almost like Tombs of the Blind Dead zombie corpse of a body. And close up, Italian gore level stuff. So that was kind of weird too. I mean, that didn't really fit with the rest of the movie. But
which I'm sure that was just like a dummy from some other movie he did. Probably like Hell of the Living Dead or something. That he just got and fixed it up to where it looked like it was bitten by a shark or something. Like, that's got to be what that was.
He probably got a spoon and put Smuckers and shit all over it to make it look
That's
fresh.
what it looked like, yeah. But by far, the thing that confused me the most was Hulk Hogan was in it. Like, I was like, so, did they just get a guy that looked exactly like Hulk Hogan? Like, that's what I was thinking when I was watching it. Or did they, not know that it looked like Hulk Hogan? Or, what was, and then...
No, I'm thinking he was hired because he worked with Hulk Hogan, and the fact that he looked like him, it probably, yeah. Something else that's funny too that a lot of people don't know about. So this guy, Richard Dew, has made a career out of impersonating Hulk Hogan. So much so that I think it was in 2006, 2007, he was on an episode of Monday Night Raw. Did you see that clip? I think I sent you that clip.
I didn't see it. I didn't watch it.
So it's easy to find. It's on YouTube. It's when that brief feud that he had with Randy Orton back then. And he was kind of Orton was doing a spoof of Hogan Knows Best. That show was, I guess, still on. He called it Orton Knows Best. And he had impersonators of Brooke, Nick, Linda, and the Hulkster. So if you wanted to see Richard do what he's been up to afterwards, it's just more of impersonating the immortal one.
So he's like an Elvis
shark.
He's like an Elvis impersonator, but for Hogan. Like, he just follows him around. That's his whole gig. Oh my God, that's amazing.
What's weird, though, is he's not online. He doesn't have any sort of online presence. I mean, I don't know. He may not even be alive anymore, but yeah, I thought that was kind of funny. I mean, honestly, of all the people that's doing conventions and stuff, I'm surprised he don't at least do one in Florida or something.
He should do a convention, man. Like, he really should.
Yeah, he could even make, Cruel Jaws Hulkamania style t-shirts. Sell them. Somebody'd buy it.
But, I don't even know. Oh, and another thing, too. The shark, this is way before Sharknado. A shark actually attacks a fucking helicopter in this, too.
Oh, yeah.
And brings down a helicopter, which I had never seen up until Sharknado, but this predates that, man. This movie is just setting milestones and breaking barriers, apparently. And it looks just as bad as you would think a movie with zero budget having a shark attack a helicopter would look. And the only thing they could have done that would have made it look any shittier is if like they just had like a toy helicopter and they took like their hand and went like this and then had like a shark come up and like, eat it that way. Oh man.
But I mean, it is enjoyable.
It is like that's. It's right up there with Troll 2, Burial Ground, like any movies like that you can think of that are just ridiculous but like good.
And it's the best that Cruel Jaws has ever looked.
Yeah, I mean it doesn't get any clearer than that shit.
It's very interesting, the stuff that Severin goes after to remaster. That's all I'll say.
I can kind of get this one though. Like this falls in that category of like so bad that it's amazing, but like some of that other stuff is just really bad. It doesn't have redeeming qualities to it.
Severin really goes for the Italian stuff. Like they do a lot of Italian, genre, horror genre, action genre. I actually got Robo. What was it? I think it was Robo Wars. That's the Predator ripoff.
Oh yeah,
the Italian Predator ripoff. And they did the Bruno Mattei Terminator movie. Bruno Mattei ripped off about any kind of movie you could think of back in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, there was one called like Dark something.
Shocking Dark.
Shocking Dark, yeah.
That's the Terminator ripoff. I mean, it was effectively called Terminator 2 in Italy before the actual Terminator 2 came out. And they say it's Aliens and Terminator ripoff both. I think that one is. I've never seen it, so.
See, I don't understand how they get away with all this shit. But apparently they don't care about getting sued because there's no way that they license any of this stuff.
No, I mean, Italy had to have their own version of, like the, what was the name of the Bollywood Nightmare on Elm Street movie that they did?
Yeah, like Bollywood had all that shit too, like that was ripping off Terminator and any movie that was popular. They ripped off Thriller, like any of that stuff. They had their own versions of it, which all that stuff is amazing. Yeah,
for sure. But, that is Cruel Jaws. It is out now. You can get it on Blu-ray disc from our good buddies at Severin Films. It's kind of expensive, but hey, they took the time out to go down to Bruno's old film laboratory and remaster the shit out of it.
Somebody remastered Cruel Jaws, man. I mean, just the fact that somebody did that and that happened is amazing. The world we live in.
It is a strange, strange world indeed. We need to help Don May Jr. find King Frat, though, because
we do.
The 4K of King Frat needs to be made.
So, yeah. Yeah.
Carter Derdention, he is the man that, and he is in here, he is the man that requested Cruel Jaws. He says that he liked it when the girl in the wheelchair was clearly kicking her paralyzed legs underwater.
And let me just say this, too. The thing about the girl in the wheelchair was the only reason she was in a wheelchair was for that fucking scene. There's no other, that never really, comes up. There's no, nothing about that makes any sense other so that when she gets knocked into the water, there would be, a little bit of tension, oh, fuck, how's she going to get out? She's paralyzed. There's no other reason for her to be in a wheelchair.
I would have loved to have seen Richard Do cut a promo on the damn shark, though, like Hulk Hogan.
Oh, my God, that would be fucking outstanding.
That would have been amazing. He gets all hulked up. He's like, "You damn shark, brother."
Yeah. There would be nothing.
After my family, man.
There'd be nothing better than that, yeah. Let me tell you something, shark. You piece of trash, dude. I'm going to come after you and break you in half.
I may look like the Hulkster, but my name is Richard Do. And one thing that you don't is mess with Do.
Do. That would be That'll be his gimmick, man. Yeah, if he was a wrestler, you don't mess with dude.
Oh shit! You fucking wart-infested shark, brother.
And the shark's in like a monster truck at the end of it. Yeah, trying to push him off a building.
Yeah, but like this was also though in the mid-90s. Was killer shark movies kind of a big thing, or no? I don't think so.
I don't think there was any killer shark, which is why I'm trying to figure out why the fuck did he do this in the 90s? Like,
I don't.
Was there a big call for that? Like
he was ahead of the curve, is what it was.
I guess maybe in Italy, maybe all that just like caught up with him. Like Jaws 4 just maybe caught up at around that time, or I don't know. Mm-hmm. There had to be some reason.
So yeah, that is it for the review show. This go around, we had 3 reviews. Anything else you've been watching, Uncle Bill? You want to mention on here or anything?
No, I meant to watch Sleepless last night, but I had to try to get through Cache, so I didn't get a chance to do it.
You fell asleep on Cache, huh?
I always fell asleep on Cache. I fell asleep on Cache like 15 fucking times. Keep going back to it, watching it.
I don't know what it is about French, the French language, but whenever somebody just speaks it, I instantly get sleepy. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Oui, monsieur.
Arriba la rosa.
It's fucking Spanish.
It don't matter. I don't know what the fuck they're saying either way, so.
You gonna peel my potato and toss my salad, Holmes?
Hey, arriba! Tito Santana, chimichanga!
Which, by the way, have you seen his daughter?
Who? Tito Santana? No.
You have...
Is her name Tina Santana? That'd be killer. I think we've lost Uncle Bill. Hello? Well, he started working again right when he got off there, so I guess that is it, though, for the show. I mean, we really didn't... Well, here he is. Here you go.
I don't know what the fuck. It just, like... I tried to refresh it right at the time it came back on, too.
Ain't that killer?
But anyway, do yourself a favor and look up Jenny Santana.
Ooh. She trying to be a wrestler or something?
She is, actually, yeah. She's trying to get into it right now.
Oh. You can stick a 2-liter pop on her butt.
She's one of those, yeah. Look here.
But, yeah, I haven't really been watching a whole lot either. But things will be picking up before too long. We'll have some more reviews to do and stuff like that.
I mean, hell, man, we're almost to fucking Halloween. Like, it's just 3 more months.
That's true. 3 more months to Halloween. Halloween. Fuck your asshole. All right, so I guess that is it, but we will be back. We've got a bunch of cool stuff coming. The Child's Play thing was dropped earlier today. The Child's Play, no, it's the Chucky TV show. It's a different franchise now. All right?
You can't say Child's Play. You're going to get sued. They're going to sue.
The Chucky TV show coming up in October. We got a reaction to that. We're going to have a reaction to Ghostbusters Afterlife. And already on for... most of the patrons, you can check it out early, is the 1980 slasher trailer watch-along thing that we did.
Yeah.
So check that out too. But that's it.
So it's been a lot of fun. These movies were all fucking completely different in every way that movies could be different, but they were a lot of fun to watch. So we just keep this going. Keep sending us movies, and we'll keep reviewing them, bulls.
Yeah, so, the baller and shot caller tier you can pick. Somebody was asking us about some shot on video. Something I'd never fucking watch. But, hey, if you want to contribute, we would watch it. We watch whatever the hell y'all want to. Even Big Abner.
God damn, that'd be amazing. somebody requested that. I don't know how we'd ever do it.
So, yeah, it's Ball and Shot Caller tier. There's 2 on there right now, and there's 2 that's been taken. So, any interest in that, just go for it. Let us know what you want us to review.
That's right, you sons of bitches.
So, keep checking us out, Dead Pit on Patreon.com, and of course,
deadpit.com. Oh, here we go. Oh, here we go.
Y'all come
Oh,
back
oh.
there, damn you.